Hello and welcome into SorareAndrews, brought to you by Sorare Data. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined today, as always, by Andy Black. And also our special guests, Sorare Downunders, Alistair and Simon. Gentlemen, yeah, Downunder, that's right. We put them on the bottom here. I was just saying to all of these guys how excited I was for this show. And Alistair said he had a dream that he wanted to talk about. And we started to talk about it. And I was like, no. This has to be part of the show, and we're going to start right there. Alistair, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, start in the weirdest possible place we can. So I was commenting on Black's lovely setup and his Sven Coombs jersey up the back there, the Cum Doctor, and I was telling him that I actually had a Sven Coombs related dream the other night, and so most of my Sorare action happens like as I'm sleeping, and I think Channy can relate to this. I wake up a lot, kind of having my Sorare scores kind of fold into my dreams, and I wake up with kind of false expectations about what's happening in real life. And I had a dream that Sven Coombs scored, and I woke up and I was like, yeah, let's go. And then it took me about 3 or 4 minutes to realize that A, I don't even own a Sven Coombs, and B, in the dream, he scored a try in rugby, which has nothing to do with Sorare whatsoever. But I think it's terrifying that is what's going on in my subconscious. Sven Coombs scoring rugby tries. I told you it was weird.
A rugby try is when you do what? You run it through you run into the end zone. That's what we call it here.
It's a touchdown.
Yeah, he scored a touchdown. Yeah, it's a Sven Coombs touchdown. Yeah.
Next time he scores a goal, I'm going to be like, Sven Coombs touchdown.
Come down.
Well, that's everything that we wanted. Thank you to everyone who has joined us live. I was commenting before that there are some people who are able to watch this live because we're doing it at a different time than we normally do. Chani got very excited. Although, Chani, we did talk about this comment. You said, I can't believe I get to witness this live. And we were kind of curious what you thought you were going to witness. And all of a sudden we started thinking of ideas, and it got a little too... It went where everybody thought it would go.
That's a challenge, yeah. First ever naked podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, it was like, have you ever played strip poker? It's going to be like that. So like, sorry, Simon, you got to take your shirt off now.
Damn.
Yeah. Jake Powell, first time live, need to support the fellow Aussies. So thank you for tuning in, Jake. And then a bunch of slightly inappropriate comments from people about Sven Coombs.
Comes with the territory.
Yeah. Anyway. So guys, I have a ton to talk about, but first I just want to say how much I enjoy all of your stuff. And I admit that I did not find it myself, and it wasn't like I knew you guys existed and I just didn't get around to it. And Andy was like, have you watched Sorare Down Under? And I was like, I know it's there. And he's like, you have to watch it. And I was like, all right. And I'll be honest that I don't consume like a ton of Sorare content, and I probably should consume more, but it's that weird thing where it's like, am I working or am I just listening to people talk about Sorare? And I finally got one, months ago. I was like, all right, I'll check this out. And I was totally hooked. And if anybody out there is not subscribed to Sorare Down Under on YouTube, just go over there and do it because it's great. And the thing that I loved the most about it is that we didn't have anything like it. It wasn't just people talking about Sorare and like, that's it. And I'll be honest, it took me a little bit, almost like get used to it, because if you hear of Sorare content, you're just like, oh yeah, it's like people, players, cards to buy, or, players to scout or whatever, road to glories, all this stuff. And this was it's still people talking about Sorare, but it was different. And I was like, I don't know if I like this. And then it ended and I was like, well, I need another one of these. And then like listened again. And I was like, I do like this. And I kept listening watching, excuse me. And so again, everyone needs to go and subscribe to Sorare Down Under on YouTube. And where did you guys, because you talked about this a little bit when you guys were on John Nellis's show, but like what made you like decide to do Sorare content? And then how did you end up like where you did in, it's not just going to be two guys like chatting, but all of the other stuff that you guys do?
Well, I think, I mean, we initially started because Simon was finishing his university degree, and Simon works for the Melbourne Storm, which is like a rugby league club down here in Australia. So it was all about kind of, he does lots of work in like media and stuff. He can probably tell you a little bit more about that. But we basically started it just as like a university project for him. We were like, yeah, we'll make a podcast, and that'll be, that'll go towards your final grade. And for any of the OGs out there, we actually started as an MLS only focused podcast. And that very quickly became apparent that was a one-way ticket to madness. Because yeah, well, it turns out if you hate the thing that you're talking about all the time, it doesn't make for great content. So we kind of scrapped that and started season 2, and here we are. So in terms of like how we kind of started coming up with the way we were going to do it, I'd always kind of like, I always write down little like funny ideas and kind of skits and jokes and stuff. I've done like stand up and stuff a few times. So I'm always writing down little jokes and things, and people are always like, oh, you've got to start making stuff. You've got to start putting videos out. And instead of following that dream and like, pursuing something greater, I was like, I'm going to focus all my energy on just creating content for the 300 people in the world that like Sorare. I'm really shooting for the stars,
I think the one that kind of spread around to like various groups I were in was the Opta video that you guys did. So Ben said, as somebody, where is this, that's not watched it yet, how is it different? So you guys do like the weekly show, but there are also, as you described, some various skits that you guys do, which I think are great. And how did you...
I would say real quick,
yeah.
Someone in chat, Ben, said, as somebody that's not watched it yet, how is it different? I would say go watch 3 bits that they have out there. Go watch the 10 Commandments. That one's fabulous. The new one that you guys have on dyeing your hair blonde, quite good, like that. And then whatever Laird, which one did you say, Laird? I don't remember.
The Opta,
the
Opta one is fantastic.
Go check those 3 out.
I've been paying for that Opta bit.
I think it sort of came from a point of like the weeks where there's nothing happening in Sorare. Like sometimes there are weeks where there's not much happening. Maybe it's the international window, for example. And I felt like in the past we would sit down and we'd try and do a podcast and we'd be like, all right, what do we talk about? And then the way that we did it was like sort of doing the skits, doing the segments, sort of having that radio show, TV show kind of vibe, was like we could fill out and have some fun with episodes when there wasn't much to talk about. When there's a bombshell dropped, we can spend a whole episode talking about that, and it might be a little bit more serious and strategical. But I think that's why we enjoy it, because it's having a bit of fun with it on the side as well.
Well, lots of other people are having fun because of what you guys are doing. So thank you for that. Simon,
thank you.
Did the new Sorare UI completely change everything for you, and now you're going to FOMO back into rares?
Yeah, so I've basically put all my life savings back into the platform. I saw they've updated the app, so I was like, all right, that's it. Now going straight to uniques, the biggest unique collector in Australia. I'm all in.
But only A-League uniques, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. The ones with heaps of utility. That AFC Champions League, I'll be going nuts.
Yeah, we're coming for that John Nellis Aziz Bay hitch. It's ours.
Do you find... So I always found it weird because you guys kind of describe yourselves as not being crazy about football, and you kind of have dedicated a lot of time to a game about football. So what is it? Yeah, what is it about Sorare that like keeps you here despite being like? I imagine you're not playing in NBA and MLB, or are you?
I've been thinking about dabbling in NBA. I think we are both really massive soccer fans now. Like we we watch a lot of football. We follow a lot of football. Like it's kind of the other way around. We weren't football fans that found Sorare. I actually found Sorare because I was kind of diving into NFTs, and I really wanted to pick up a few NFTs here and there, and got involved in the Gary V boom. So I kind of came in with dollar signs in my eyes and pure greed intentions of like making millions of dollars. I thought, football's all right. Then drag Simon in, and then we've both become massive football fans over the course of that, the last 2-3 years.
You already got a new subscriber here. Sorare CEO says a soft spot for Aussies. So even if your content is not as funny as advertised, I'm staying. It is.
Sorare CEO. That's Nicholas, right? Nicholas is now a subscriber. Yeah. He goes by Sorare CEO, which is
just so nobody knows who he is. Yeah. Just
yeah. By the way, okay, we quickly have to address something. So some people out there may have seen our video of Simon had a very emotional moment last week. He's selling a lot of his cards. He's selling all of his rares. And one of the hardest cards to get rid of was his Sho Sasaki rare, because Sho Sasaki, for those who don't know, is the GOAT. So that was very emotional. We were on the phone every day, kind of Simon just couldn't, I can't do it, Alistair. I can't do it. He's in tears. And then our Lord and Savior, Lairdinho, comes in with the gift from upon high of a Sho Sasaki Limited, just to look at that little face. Look at his little face. How happy he is. And then it was not to be outdone. Our man Black here sends through not just like, oh, hey, here's a card to send you on your way, but a full 5-man St. Louis stack. Which, I mean, okay, that's bribery, right? You're just
No, well, yes, in a way. To be fair, the trade, according to Sorare data, was fair-ish. Fair.
Okay,
fair.
yeah, fair enough.
What are you going to do with that Kota Watanabe and Edison Flores Black? What are you going to do with them? Come on.
Watch them go to the moon.
So I'm going to hold ears Flores forever until he comes back to Liga MX. That card will come good someday. So don't you worry about that. I don't know who the other guy is. Yeah, I don't know who the other guy is, but he's going straight on the market, and don't worry, he'll get sold for market value. But it might have been a slight bribe to ensure the team that you're supporting in the MLS is none other than St. Louis, right?
This is like when, I don't know if this happens in the States, but when I was in like grade 1, the Commonwealth Bank, which is a big bank here in Australia, came to every school in Australia and basically was like, here you go, guys, set up a savings account with Commonwealth Bank. And it was basically just like, we are signing you up for life now as customers of our bank. And it's exactly the same thing that you're doing. But what you didn't realize, Black, is that you've just given a St. Louis stack to the most unlucky man on Sorare. So you have basically just ensured that St. Louis are going to go out in straight sets in the finals, and then pretty much all of their players are probably going to move to the Polish league, and St. Louis will be dissolved as a club by this time next year. So I hope you're happy.
Yeah. I will say they've already been quite unlucky conceding, losing clean sheets in the final minute of 2 games in the past 2 months. So we're already well on our way to, being the perfect stack for Simon here.
It won't be clean sheets that they'll be losing. It'll be, Roman Berkey's legs will just come completely off.
Please, God, no.
I think my favorite thing about this trade that you did, other than the fact that, is Watanabe now your only Asia player?
No, certainly I have others.
The whale, you have no idea. Not a single, let me see if I can pull this up. Not a single one of the cards is a St. Louis card.
Yeah. In fact, they were all dupes.
Had a feeling.
Every single one.
Yeah.
I like it. The Rainbow St. Louis stack. Look at
that
gallery.
The only bad thing is all the guys that have St. Louis collection bonuses are just going to smash you. But when you're finishing top 10, it's not going to be that big of a deal, right?
No. Wow, pulling
I'm
up
just happy to
Simon's
be
gallery like this in front of everyone is brutal. You've pulled
Hardly.
his pants down in front of the whole school.
This is This is like the new beginning. I think this is exactly what we should be doing here, and we got to figure out how to fill the rest of it in.
Although I do
I'm a
like
little
that-
bothered. I'm a little bothered that Sebastian Blanco is the best SO5 card in this gallery.
He is the best
He
SO5
is
card
the-
in
we're
anyone's
talking about-
gallery.
Yeah.
Well, I would have figured it was a different Portland player that you guys are big fans of that I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
It's always been Papa.
So, Simon, I had to bring this up because I've been thinking about it since your, what was the video called? I'm quitting Sorare, something like that.
Yeah.
And I love that it just follows along with the usual community. Like, I'm done with Sorare. I'm out of here. Let me just buy some limiteds and just play. And like, nobody really leaves. And everybody claims they leave, but they don't. But you decide to go with a Premier League cards to get into the Prem. Did you consider that you're entering like still one of the harder divisions to play? Like, you guys have been talking about how it's not that much, like some of the huge bangers aren't there anymore. Messi's gone, Neymar's gone, but it's still a little tough. Like, I don't play it and that doesn't mean anything, but like, what made you go that way instead of something fun like MLS?
Yeah, well, trust me, I see the Wolfsburg boys in Champion Europe. I know how tough it is to try and win. But I think for me, it's like, it's all coming back to the enjoyment factor. And I guess it's kind of, in the past, I have bought MLS, I've bought J League, I've bought these guys that I don't know with the intention of winning, because I know that it's a lot easier than these big divisions. But for me, I think just being able to watch my players, that's kind of the win for me, more so than actually winning rewards all the time and you know, compounding my
Typical
ETH that
loser
way.
talk.
But I think, you know, look,
Things losers say.
I still might get some J League players or something where I can, on a
You have one.
SO5 perspective, do well.
That's a reasonable take.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Did you
it's a
guys see
little
that
stack.
an Everton stack won Champion Europe last week?
I did see that. I mean, I was someone rolling out a Tottenham stack with every expectation that I was winning the whole thing. And then one of my players got a red card like in the first half. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, that dream is dead. So congrats to Everton, I suppose.
I saw. Should I throw him under the bus? I'll throw him under the bus. So Nellis bought a Everton stack to play the like Premier League special 3 weekly or whatever they called that thing. And the top 70, I think, won jerseys. And he tweeted, because he finished 9th in some game week when Everton beat Luton. And he was like, I bought this for £30 and now I'm winning a jersey. And everybody responded with like, you didn't actually win. You finished 202nd because it's over 3 weeks, not just this 1 week. And he skipped the first week even. So I don't even know why I brought that up. Oh, the Everton stack. So it's doable, but I would just say read the rules before you tweet about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And don't buy a Everton stack, buy a Luton Town stack for sure.
Yeah, they're going to
They
come
do
good
now?
eventually. Yeah,
Have
we
you
all
done
know
that?
John's too big and famous to be, reading the rules. He's not even at this, 2 a.m. stream to watch us. Come on, guy. Come on, mate. too cool for school.
Swimming with I was going to say swimming with dinosaurs, swimming with sharks.
That was a very tame looking shark dive, by the way. I don't know if it's like a little paddling pool kind of near the sharks. I don't know about that.
As soon as he was like,
Throwing
we're in a cage, right? And the guy was like, of course. And I was like, do I just turn it off? Do I need to see John sitting in a cage with another guy just looking at sharks from the inside?
With a strange
So I haven't
man.
seen this yet. He jumps into the water with sharks.
So it's some sort of sponsored video for like a cybersecurity company that has shark in its name. Apologies to whatever the company's name is. Obviously, this whole video that you paid John Nellis to do didn't work. But anyway, he had to convince somebody to jump into a Shark Tank with him, and they would get a VIP ticket to a West Ham match. And it turned out that they basically went to an aquarium and were in a cage and like were dropped like 2 feet under the water. And there were sharks like swimming in the tank, but nowhere near them. And then they went to the West Ham game, which they lost.
I don't know about you guys, but I can't really think of anything worse than going to a football game on my own with some strange guy. I don't like. It's great that they get to go, but that experience is not worth it for me. I'm sorry, John. I'm just throwing major shade John's way. We love you, John.
So are you, I'm trying to think of whose position you were in when you were thinking that. Were you in the other guy's shoes or John's shoes?
The other guy's shoes. I think I can see why most of John's videos are him trying for about 4 hours to get someone to agree to it, because they're like, oh, free ticket. Oh, it's just me with you? Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with John. I don't like to go and do things on my own with a stranger. It's kind of strange.
I think there's about a 0% chance that if somebody ever walked up to me and was like, hey, you want to go to the ball game together with me? I'd be like, The hard part would be like on the spot having to come up with the excuse. Like, just like, I'm not good at that. Like, excuses are tough. So
I'm dying. I have a horrible disease. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I have a roast. I got to get home for the roast. Oh God.
Is it roast break?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Have you guys thought about breaking out into roast content?
Cooking show. Sorare Downunder cooking show. I love it.
I was very intrigued. Like, to be honest, I was slightly disappointed that there wasn't like some sort of roast. Like, I was left with questions about this roast, and I still have them. So yeah, if you could just go into that for like, I know everybody watching here has also seen the video, so they're well aware of it. But I need more details on this roast, mostly because when I watched it, I was like, it's a good idea. It is getting to become like roast season here, so yeah, a few more details.
Why was it in the mid? Why were you cooking a roast at like what? It was like midday.
Me? No,
it was like. Was it for lunch?
No, it was dinner. It's pre-planning. You know, you got to get the crackling right, and there's a whole process. You know,
and was this just?
Were you cooking it in like the crock pot?
The oven.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why he was so
roast it,
concerned. You're not going to burn the place down with a crock pot, Andy. Come on now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
What vegetables did you have going along with that bad boy?
The key is you put Cajun seasoning, a bit of paprika, and put that over the like sweet potatoes and the potatoes. Game changer.
Ooh,
game changer.
Mr. Fancy.
Heard it here first. Taking notes.
This is what
I take lots of notes in my official Sorare NBA playoffs pad and pen. Which
if you guys played NBA Sorare, you could have that.
Damn, just 300,000 coins.
The only thing about this, and I think I've showed this before, I've never seen a notepad with like dots like this.
You're hurting my eyes.
Isn't that
I don't
for
know
like
what to do with it.
Drawing houses?
My only
like architecture pad.
My only thought is that I've yet to write a single thing down in here, but if I did, maybe it becomes 3D. And so I just have to like, because of the dots. But I also, it came with this very nice pen, which is not nice at all because the tip is already broken and it just says China on it. You'll never be able to see it. But I thought it said Sorare and I was like, oh, sweet. And it just says China. And I was like, oh, it's literally just a pen.
I'm pretty disappointed it didn't say playoffs.
I agree. I thought it'd have something.
I love it. I like that it just says China. I kind of want one now. Not even made in China, just China.
No, yeah, it was actually made here in the States, but they just printed China on it.
That's got to be like, you know, how the NBA is like embroiled with like, you know, the Chinese government and all that kind of stuff. That's just their little like contractually they're obliged to put China on all of their merchandise somewhere.
Perfect. Going back, And I'm still thinking about this roast for breakfast, but the Good Place said there's never a bad time for roast. So
That's true.
yeah, you just have to wake up at 3 a.m.
Did you make this roast for like all the boys, Simon? Is that like, or was it just for you?
Yeah, for 4 other fellas, not just. I mean, the portion sizes otherwise are completely out the window. If I'm just one whole roast to one bloke, just
Roast for one.
It's my roast.
That's sad.
Get away.
Not winning SO5 rewards is sad, but having a roast on your own, just a whole roast, that's the bottom of the pit.
Sean, are you sharing your roast tonight? Is what I want to know.
There is no way that Sean is making this roast.
That's fair.
No way. I'm just going to leave it at that. No chance.
Roasts out. I think we need to start a hashtag. Roast out for the boys.
Sorare on roast.
What if it's a roast where, like the roast of somebody, the roast of Sean Newsham, Alistair, you said that you're like a stand-up comic or something. So, you're like the roast master, right?
I think we need to just roast other roasts, Let's go full meta. No one's ever roasted a roast before. That would make great television if it just
people are dying to watch that.
I just sit them down, get a bunch of professional comedians to, tear
And
it apart.
chefs.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to replace Sorare 7s with a Sorare barbecue or Sorare roast. There you go.
I feel like that's that actually would be a lot more suitable to a lot of the Sorare audience. It's just like a Sorare kind of event where instead of running around on a football pitch, you just eat some potatoes and gravy.
Right. A bunch of slow cooked meat. Yeah. Yeah. I'm in.
I'm down.
There was like a serious question that I thought we should at least pretend to acknowledge. David Taylor said, if all of you were to start on Sorare football today with the same budget of £1,000 at the end of the season, who would win the most rewards?
Yikes. That is a tough one. Not Simon, 100%. We already know that.
I'm going to vote not me because I'd be too tempted to buy Sven Coombs and Jiz Hornkamp and just like guys that aren't going to actually contribute to the win. So it's down to you two.
Well, I don't really know. So fun fact for you, Laird. You are one of only 2 people that I follow on Sorare data in terms of, you can follow people's scores of a weekend. I follow you and I follow Channy, which is purely down to, I've always felt like from watching your content that your gallery and my gallery, maybe not anymore, but we're on similar kind of wavelengths, and each week when PSU fans would talk about, going out and buying Griezmann and Carlos Hill and, all these kind of players, I felt like a bit of an affinity to your gallery because I was like, hey, we're on the same wavelength here. So I have been watching you and you've been on a bit of a heater lately. And I followed Channy just purely because he's the most enthusiastic guy in the world. I love it. I don't follow Black just because I don't really, it's going to be too
You don't
depressing.
have to say it. You don't have to say it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You follow me?
I do follow Simon, yeah, but that's even more depressing, yeah. So I think I'd have to say that Laird's probably the winner in that competition just because I have been watching you pretty consistently. You tear yourself down, but you do pretty well, considering kind of where you're at.
So thank you for that, but I think you're completely wrong because I was going to blame...
We're really going to sit here and jerk each other off for the rest of the show.
No, I don't think
this is what Channy wanted. This is what Channy was gonna. I can't believe I'm going to see this live for the world's first Sorare jerk off sesh. All right, last to finish, losers go.
Yeah, yeah. Sean's got it here. Too much jizzing and coming to follow. I don't know how I would play without my significant early adopter advantage. I really don't.
True.
And it's one of those things that I feel like I should feel guilty about, but I don't. And so yeah, I think my attempt at starting over with limiteds makes me think like maybe I could be okay at this game, but I don't know yet. I do a lot of stupid stuff, including today, actually. I've done some really dumb stuff. So that's the fun of it.
I mean, this could be a very good little competition to run with Sorare content creators, $1,000 budget, go for it, see what you can turn it into. I think people have done that before, but it would be good to, make it official.
I'm glad that it's that competition and not a different one.
Let's get all the Sorare content creators involved. Limp Bizkit, love it.
What are you thinking of, Andy?
This took a turn.
Oh, nothing. Just competing instead of competing.
Yeah. Right. Simon, do you think you're going to have fun in the future with your new cards?
I think so. Honestly, I think the fact that if I'm getting players that I know and like, and I mean, to be honest, I've had 2 years of not really winning and I've had a great time. It's obviously been hard, but I've had fun. So, it's not as if I'm going from getting used to winning every week and I might be now, not winning rewards as regularly. I'm pretty used to that. And so if I can watch guys I like, then that's the win. Yeah. I just think as well, how many times, the times Alistair and I will be talking about a player, be like, he's like, oh, he's got a good move or there's a lot of upside. And I can't go and buy him because in the rares, it's just too much of a financial investment. Whereas in the limiteds, I can be a bit more free and I can back some of my own scouting and be like, oh, I think this guy's really good. I can go pick him up. And I feel like that freedom is what I'll enjoy more.
Yeah. So given the track record of your recommendations from your brother, it does feel like doing your own research might be beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think one of the first players I picked up was a couple of years ago, Vinicius Souza, before he went on that massive heater and his price graph jumped up really high. I probably should have learnt from that experience, be like, hey, maybe you're not as bad at this as you first thought, but here we are.
I still have Vinicius Souza. I bought mine because my good friend Trippin B was like, hey, you should buy this guy. And I was like, why? He's like, just buy him. So I bought him because early adopters are able to do silly shit like that. And his rare was well over an ETH for a while. And I was like, man, I'm never selling this card because why would I ever want to profit off of this? And yeah, then he just disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't even know where he plays now.
He's at Sheffield.
Great.
Yeah.
No wonder I've never used that card.
I tell you what, the new update on the homepage on the Sorare website is how many rewards you've won and how many competitions you've entered. I mean, great initiative. Not great for me, as I don't like seeing that right in front of me. I don't want to know how badly I've done.
That's fair. This is my Vinicius Souza chart where I bought him here. And I feel like I should have sold him around here, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. But hey, prices were going to go up forever, remember?
So
I remember that time very well.
As low as they go, I still think they're going up. I've convinced myself. I'm like, oh, I'll be fine soon.
Yeah, we're in that fun section of the season where all the cards are dropping and everyone on Twitter is freaking out because prices are starting to go down and, the whole oversupply. How could Sorare do this to us? Taking food out of our children's mouths. It's a great time of year.
This international break, I think, is the worst one because people get bored and they're like, oh, I wonder how much my cards are worth. And they're like, oh, whose cards are these? And you're like, oh shit, those are my cards and they're not worth anything now. And then they go to Twitter to X to take it out on everybody. Carl said he's been waiting 3 years for the bounce. It's a long-term game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely one who I'm of the opinion that, I think at the moment, everything is kind of down in the crypto Web3 NFT space. And I do still think that those two things are linked, Sorare and Web3, as much as they're trying to distance themselves. I think when that bounce comes, that's when we'll see a massive kind of turnaround in the Sorare fortunes. Because I do think people who are into that space, they're the ones that throw money around based on, speculation. So, and that was what drew me to Sorare, was like, oh, I can be better at everyone else at this and I can make heaps of money. And so I think when that crowd comes back into Sorare, that's when we'll see our bounce.
Andy, is this I don't even want to use the 3-letter word. 3-letter word, but are we in a small dip?
Oh, we're just in it. Things go up, things go down. No, I think a big part of it is like the global. When we've been talking about the global economic issues, but I mean, like, just like going to get groceries, it's fucking expensive, and gas and all that shit, and like that's money that people, like, people that can't put into Sorare, like even just like a $50 at the end of the week left over that they throw at the platform and buy something. You just, like, everything's just so expensive right now that you don't have a lot of disposable income for a stupid NFT card game.
Maybe if we weren't spending so much money on roasts.
Yeah.
How much that roast cost?
What a slap in the face of the cost of living crisis. Simon's out here having roast on a weekday to himself, not even sharing it with the boys.
For lunch.
A Wednesday lunch, a little casual Wednesday pot roast. Doing well, are we, Simon?
This is an attack.
Did you sell all your rare cards just to buy roast materials?
You know how many roasts I can get for my whole, stack of rares? So many.
4 or 5?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Sorry, were you going to say something, Alistair?
No.
Oh.
Never.
Simon, were you going to sell the St. Louis cards? Or are you going to keep them?
Oh, of course not. That would be... No, of course not. I had a few people trying to buy my gallery, and they were like, including the show Sasaki in the deal, and I was immediately rejecting. I was like, I will have those cards until the platform no longer exists. I will never sell those cards. I can guarantee you that right now.
I do think it would be hilarious if you were just like, undercut the market, just go list them all right now, live on stream, and just be like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
More roast for daddy.
There's your title for this week's episode. More roast for daddy.
I don't, like, Andy, how would you feel if someone was like, thank you so much?
I would feel like I got a Edison Flores and a Watanabe something to compensate for it. So I'd feel, my heart would feel just fine. I would just be really disappointed that I no longer knew the biggest St. Louis City fan in Australia.
Yeah, I've been passionate about that club for the past 2 days since I heard about them. Till I die.
What a team.
Till I die.
Yeah, we'll have to get an illegal version of the jersey from somewhere online for Simon. Yeah.
Next time we're on a stream, I'll have my walls all painted pink, and maybe some St. Louis bed sheets or something.
It's not pink,
nice.
Okay? It's not pink. It's city red. City red.
Sorry. Look, what a St. Louis noob.
Get a nice big bag of dog food to sit in the corner.
Exact. Here we go.
Yep. There it is.
Yep.
It is pink, by the way. Like, it's definitely pink.
There's a comment here from J Vic. Flores will smash in Peru. It's funny you say that, because when he moved to Peru, that's exactly what we thought. I remember telling Simon, I've got the messages to prove it. Mate, Flores just moved to Peru, gonna smash. Has not smashed in the 3 or 4 months that he's been there. So I hope you're right, J Vic, for Black's sake. But
as a big Atlas fan, I've seen Flores play quite a bit. He's not going to smash anywhere. Just not going to happen.
I think going back to the earlier conversation of, my horrible advice, I think I didn't get quite in as early as you guys, but I did certainly get some benefits from getting in when I did. And one of them is that was a time where you didn't really have to know if a player was good. You just had to kind of read the market as to whether the value of that player was up or down. And I think I was a lot better at going, this player is undervalued based on the kind of speculation that was going on. So I think a lot of my success early on came from just picking a player that might have been injured. And then when he came back, his price would spike because everyone was just paying stupid prices for everyone. And now I think you really do need to be good at actually scouting quality, and it turns out I have absolutely no skill in that whatsoever.
I think what drives me nuts now is like I'll watch a game and I'll be like, oh, that guy's good, and then I'll go look at his card and it's like everybody already knew this. I'm like 3 weeks behind or something.
Yeah.
That's why you just don't have to watch any soccer, Andy.
Oh my god!
You don't want to get pulled into thinking somebody's good.
You want to get your hopes up?
Yeah, exactly. Simon, do you consider just trading?
Probably not, to be honest. I don't know. Again, it's just I've always liked the fantasy element. That's always been my main focus. I feel like definitely trading probably is the most profitable way to do it, especially like we're saying back in the boom. If you picked up a few injured goalkeepers, it was a pretty easy profit, and a couple of months later. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that sort of takes the fun out of it a little bit. I definitely have been guilty of not selling at the high enough, but I think we all have been in that boat. So
that was before we had buy low, sell highs.
Speaking of trading, I know some people that's where they make their quote unquote profit, and Sorare is flipping basketball cards because with the cap scores, I don't know if you guys know how that works, but on a week-to-week basis, you might have a guy that is worthless one week, but then he's going to start the next week, and now all of a sudden his value shoots up because he's got a low cap score.
Yeah, that might be more my speed, actually. It's just flipping NBA cards. Maybe that's what I need to do.
There's a decent amount of fantasy basketball content out of Australia, though.
Yeah, I think because a friend of mine plays and he watches the Locked In fantasy
Is that Josh
basketball?
Lloyd?
Yeah,
Josh Lloyd,
yeah. So, hey, maybe that could be our new thing, Simon. Let's jump ship on this football.
Another sport I don't know anything about. Let's do it. All right.
Oh man.
I like this question from Carl. Are the bots the problem, swapping with everyone on the cheap, then undercutting everyone? Without bots, would prices go up?
That could be a very good point. I think the bots certainly, like for most people, it's just the laziest way out, especially of rewards. Like if you win a reward, you can just flick it to a bot and, take a ridiculous cut on it, get some ETH, and, that might throw the market out for sure. That's a good point.
I do find that the benefit, or maybe it's not the benefit, but some of them will basically hide prices. You send a National Series card and then it's just a trade. I feel like they're somewhat cognizant of that because obviously if they are tanking the market, if they get another one of those cards, now they have to sell it for even less. Like it doesn't benefit them.
Keying their own car.
Sorry, I was looking at this. Wedge Game had this, should more Sorare content creators focus mainly on entertainment and long-form trolling? Think of guys like Pete Overzet and pivot of DFS content from focus on winning to entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I mean, it's quite strange being in this live environment, usually our episodes are about 4 or 5 hours long and I have to, cut out all the silences and crying and all the kind of, so I think we're doing rather well, actually.
I love that. Breaks. Right, but that's what it was. I have to do all of this work to take out the other stuff, but the roast break actually stayed in on the last video.
We've had netball breaks, we've had roast breaks. Yeah, that's the new channel for content. Is just breaks.
Right. Narky Sharky was curious if you guys think rugby union or league would be good fit for Sorare fantasy sports. I don't know what either of those things are.
Yeah. Yes, I think they would be. So Simon and I used to play the NRL, which is the rugby league fantasy game. And we played that, and you can win, but it's kind of like it's what's that one? It's like the English Premier League fantasy where it's like you're not really going to win. You're up against like hundreds of thousands of other people. We used to play that, and we got really competitive. Like emotions were high week to week, just playing that game basically for free, kind of competing against each other. So, and then of course Sorare, obviously you add money into the equation and it takes it to another level. But I think rugby league would be great for Sorare, because you've got like, it's similar to, well, no, it's nothing like American football, but you've got like the halfback, which is kind of like the quarterback. So it's like they're going to be more valuable, but then you can, who's your halfback is going to be a big part of what your Sorare team would be. And then your forwards are going to rack up the AA. So I can see it translating pretty well, but I don't think there's enough of a market at all. They'd have about 19 people playing it.
I remember the first knockoff I ever saw of Sorare was a rugby product that I think is still out there. And my first thought was like, oh, they're going to get sued so fast. And I guess they're still out there. All, like you said, 19 people are playing it. And
Can't get sued if no one knows you're there.
that's fair.
That's right. Hide in plain sight.
I don't remember that, Andy. Didn't the cards look exactly the same?
Oh, it was like direct copy paste. They took Sorare and just like slapped rugby guys' faces on them, and
Right.
changed a few names around. Yeah.
So rugby.
So rugby works perfectly. Daniel Cooper says, give me golf. I would love to hear someone explain to me how golf would work on Sorare. Do you guys have any clue as to how that would work?
Laird, I'll let you take this one. I think you got it.
It won't. No, just kidding. So there are plenty of like DFS golf games where you basically get points for birdies and eagles and all that stuff, and then final scores and finishing position. The biggest problem with golf, which is the same problem with like MMA or F1, is that there's just not enough athletes, players, whatever. And so there ends up being like a ton of duplicate lineups, and everybody wants to play the best guys. And one of the solutions that DraftKings uses for all the NFT sports, but if there are any ties, the tiebreaker is lowest cumulative serial numbers on their cards.
Okay.
So it ends up making, like, if Sorare did that, which we don't have much.
We got XP and collection bonus, Laird. We don't need to worry about. We don't need to worry about that.
Well, wouldn't it? The difference there is that like right now, card number 1 and card number whatever jerseyman is worth more than everything else.
Yeah.
But 17 isn't worth more than 849. Just make it make the serial numbers important, and then you have at least more like price justification, I guess, for like lower serial numbers, because otherwise there's really no reason to care what your serial number is.
Yeah, let's scrap collection bonuses and go purely to lower serial number wins. I'm into it.
I actually don't think it's a terrible idea, but I also have spent a lot of money stupidly building collections.
I love the idea of other sports, but is other sports just further dilute all the other platforms?
Yeah, I think Sorare kind of got hit with the same kind of slump that everyone else did, in that they kind of launched NBA and MLB, and then the whole kind of NFT market kind of went down. So I think they kind of got wrapped up in that. They obviously launched them in the middle of the bull run, so they were like, yeah, we're going to just print money. That's why they made them, one of 1,000, one of 5,000, because they were like, let's tap into this greed that's going on right now. So yeah, if they can't bring out any more sports now, surely. I mean, we're the real losers, because they're definitely not going to bring the A-League on with everyone on Twitter whinging about oversupply. They've been holding that back they're just waiting for that next bull run, and then they're going to hit us all with the A-League.
It's an uphill battle, I think, for the A-League.
Someone made a good point on one of our videos. We were bigging up Melbourne City, and then they went out and drew with a J2 team in the Champions League. And we're like, yeah, maybe they're not going to be the best. So rare. Our
When
best
J2?
team. Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go.
I know one person who really wants J2. I think he's still in J2. Is Yuma still there, Andy?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Everyone's saying golf is the favorite to come next. I don't know about that. I feel like it's kind of like tennis, where it's like individual players. There's a pretty clear hierarchy of who's the best. I don't know.
I think from a watching perspective, it gets pretty good because you're watching. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know when the finals, like a Sunday evening round, would come on for you guys. It'd probably be in the middle of the night or something. But that would be a fun sweat. Your guys finishing a round and you're a few points off or something to win a reward, and you're just hoping he hits it in the fairway, makes his
That's
putt,
true.
whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Sounds-
You can
sounds
make
really
you can make anything exciting.
Right. Just put a little bit of money on it.
Oh man, we were going to ask you guys. Do either of you? Well, first of all, what do your wives think of your So Rare content careers?
My wife's extremely jealous. She wishes that she had the same life, but it was more, for like true crime podcasts. She's so jealous though.
Like a picture of Ted Bundy behind her on the podcast. Yeah.
I've got Sven Coombs, but when she comes on stage and goes, we bring down a whole thing. And it's like Ted Bundy on one side and I don't know, the guy that eats everybody on the other.
Yeah. Signed by Ted Bundy. Got a match worn. I mean, that website would be, if someone can come up with match worn murder victim clothing.
Woo! Jeez. It's the rope,
There's
it's
your-
like, yeah.
Do we need a roast break?
Murderweapons.com.
Come on, guys. Jeez.
Not from the guy that eats everybody. He doesn't need a roast break.
What was the question?
What do your wives think?
Oh, yeah. I'm in a different spot because this is like literally my job.
How does she feel about the fact that you're like famous? You're So Rare famous. You are like, the Jesus Christ of the So Rare universe.
It's true.
That's amazingly dramatic. I don't think she's not impressed. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
She's just like, because I'm like, every time we are somewhere and someone's like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it's just not easy. And then it ultimately is like, so there are like enough people that care about this that's what you can do. And I'm like, barely. There are like if 3 more leave, I'm in trouble. And so thank God for this new UI. Whew. But
my wife gives me the, you're going to go talk to your friends. I'm like, and now my kids do it too. They're like, you're going to go talk to your So Rare friends now, huh?
I'm going to put my soccer jersey on and talk to my friends.
I got to get ready for work. Let me throw my soccer jersey on. In fairness, Andy now has a show where he sits right there and gets drunk. And he's like, I'm working. Let me just do my lineups.
Yeah.
So
great idea.
I haven't gotten there yet.
It's funny.
Do
I was
you ever
saying to
think
Alistair-
you'll go on, Simon?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, I feel like we are the Robert Taylor of Sorare podcasts. And then now we're in the same arena as Lionel Messi of Sorare podcasts. Like, it's pretty, yeah. Alistair
Getting those assists.
That's it.
I mean, there was a run there where Robert Taylor was the better player to have, right?
Better, yeah.
Yeah, so.
We had our peak. Do you guys think you'll ever do content like outside of Sorare?
Like roast content?
Like roast content, yeah. Like Nellis has kind of like moved into more kind of soccer, and a lot of the guys do FIFA, and they've got other pies. Are you guys cooking up any pies?
No pies for me.
So Rare till death.
No, honestly, the only thing that I've ever considered doing as well is basically just this. or like a podcast or streams of talking to people about their jobs. Cause I'm like really curious about like what people do for work and how people describe what they do. But I'm also very weird in that I will. So one example is I was like brushing my teeth one morning and I look down and I'm like, I wonder whose job it is to design this tube of toothpaste. And not like the physical, like, although that's another thing. Like, oh, how come you make it? Why isn't it just in a jar? Why is it a tube like this? But like clearly it is somebody's job. Like they go to work at Colgate or Crest or wherever. And they're like, no, I want Colgate to be here. And then you can see like the brush with the bubbles on it here. And like, that's somebody's job. And I just get like very interested about stuff like that. And so the only other content idea I've had is like talking to people about what they do for work.
You're going to be like Mike Rowe, except for dirty jobs. It's just going to be like clean, normal jobs for the everyday man.
What kind of questions do you ask someone who makes toothpaste caps for a living?
I don't know. That's why I haven't done it. That's why I keep.
So how many tubes a day would you say?
Thousands.
I want to know.
I love that there's whenever I look at a toothpaste tube, when we all look at a toothpaste tube, I like to know that there's someone out there who is like a billionaire because they make the caps for Sorare. Oh my god, for Colgate.
Sorare toothpaste. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, I quit. I give up. That's it. That was the moment. That was the that was the breaking point. Yeah, I like that there's toothpaste cap billionaires out there. Or like the guy that makes, lollipop sticks.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
But there is, I think people underestimate that there are people who are filthy, filthy rich. And you're like, how did you make your money? And they were like, yeah, have you ever used a toothpick? I made it. Or, my company makes them. We make
Toothpick
trillions
Baron.
of them. Yeah. JVic is saying we're doing this all wrong and that Nellis's way is the future of Sorare content creation, which is really funny because he barely does Sorare content. I don't know why more content creators are not showing up at their local stadiums and talk to fans about Sorare.
If there was any soccer stadiums near me, I would be out there. Unfortunately, I live in a country that doesn't give a shit about soccer, so I can go to a rugby league game and talk to people about Sorare and people will be thoroughly confused and it'll probably be really good content. Just me every week being like, what do you think about Sorare? I've never heard of it. All right, moving on
Good
to the next
talk.
one.
Yeah, all right. Go team.
But there's an idea.
Cap 240 toothpaste.
Love it. Paper clips. People are never going to let you live paper clips down, are they?
I'm still waiting for this. What was the name of that?
Ridge Wallet.
Yeah.
Sponsors of the show. Yeah.
They were supposed to.
Red or Dead. I wish there was like a voice kind of chat function here. Red or Dead 69 says, I babysit musicians. And that is his job. So maybe that's episode 1 of your podcast, Laird. Talk to this guy. I'd love to know what that means. Like just keep their heroin from them for, make sure they don't.
I was going to say, he's got to be like a producer or something, right? Yeah.
Not until you brush your teeth.
Take them to the park, let them run around.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
No, I think they're just a lot of interesting jobs. And even the jobs that are not interesting, I think the people talking about, like, really what I want to do is get people to sit down and just be like, you know what? I really don't do anything all day. Like, I actually don't. Like, what do you do at work? It's like, well, I work at a bank and I do something. I'm like, no. What do you do? And they're like, oh, I watch Nellis's videos. That's what I do.
I think that's what you get most of the time.
Yeah.
I think if you could just start this up right now and start it with Sorare managers and just start asking them what they do. And I think, I guess the one downside is most people are going to be like, well, I go on Sorare data when I get in, and I look at the auctions for the day, and then I check my gallery value again, and then I look at results. Like, I guess that's
And
the
then I
problem.
do the
You're gonna hear
surgery.
that. Yeah.
And then surgery begins. Yeah, I mean, Simon's job's pretty interesting. Simon's, you want to explain what you do, Simon?
Yeah, I was like do like a lot of like photography and videography with the rugby league team. So kind of like getting into the professional space is pretty cool because like for me, I was a massive rugby league fan as a kid, and then now I'm working and interacting and just hanging out pretty much with all these guys I idolized as a kid. So I reckon, yeah, like club media space is like it's super cool. I love it.
What's it like? See, this is where I'm going to start it. This is going to be the first episode right here. Like, what's it like walking around a bunch of people with a camera that you're like your job is to take pictures of these people, right? And what's going on. How receptive are they to these? I mean, obviously they have to be used to it, but also they're like, hey, I'm completely naked. Maybe just put the camera down for 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely like some imposter syndrome at first. I think it's once you feel comfortable, and I think it's just honestly like you put in the effort to get to know the players because it is so much easier. It's as if I'm walking around with my mates and you're mucking around. I've got a camera. They're going to be relaxed. They're just going to be chilling out. But if you're, like you said, just hiding in the bushes, taking some snaps, your content's not as good because they're not going to be as, it's not going to be as well received. So, yeah.
So all those photos, all the like, controversial photos that get leaked to the papers of, football players on drugs, football players at the strippers. That's Simon. Simon's the guy because he's got them relaxed. He's got them feeling themselves. Snaps a few pics, makes a couple of quid.
Have you ever had anyone like put their hand in your face and be like, "Get that camera out of my face"?
I haven't, to be honest. I've got hit by a flying ball while trying to take some photos, but that's as close as physical violence that I've gotten on the job.
I was going to say, I think based off of watching your content, meaning your Sorare Down Under content, that I picture people being comfortable around you. Is that weird? Is that a weird thing to say? It was less weird in my head. But I think
little baby face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a very threatening face, is it?
Right. Like you don't look at him and be like, I wonder what he's going to do with that picture. You're just like, oh yeah, go team.
Not going to sell out too many newspapers, that's for sure.
I like how people are adding in the chat what they do for work.
Yeah, you got people going.
Redor Dead 69 says, I'm a stage manager roadie, but because of NDAs, I have to keep stum. That is not a phrase that I'm familiar with.
I believe it's
suffice to say amongst many famous bands. Okay. I get it.
It's the heroin thing for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
James M96 Sorare is an aircraft stress engineer. I don't know how I struggled to get that. Oh yeah. Here's the quick question. Who does the editing for your videos? I thought Alistair did it. No?
That's me. Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy that process. It's like, takes a long time. But it's satisfying. It's satisfying to put it all together. And trying to find the little clips is a very interesting process because it's like I'm relying on something being said in the podcast and that triggering a specific thing from a movie or some kind of pop culture reference. And sometimes that doesn't come, but I'm like, something will go there. And then I go searching. It's it takes way longer than it should. And I mean, I'm probably wasting my time. Again, I'm doing this for the 200 people out there that love Sorare, but yeah, it's good.
I meant to ask all of that early. I apologize that it took over an hour because I imagine that's the only way to do it. Just be like something happens and it like triggers something in your head. And there's so many of them and they all fit. And I was just like, I don't know how you do that. That's all.
Yeah.
What is the time to like, how long does it take to edit these videos?
I would
not the
say
skits, but like your just regular show.
the skits actually don't take long at all. Like I usually bust them out in 10, 15 minutes. The editing of the episodes, I'd say you're looking at least 3 or 4 hours for each one. Yeah, and I usually do it kind of late at night. Because it's, the episode's an hour and I'm usually stopping every 30 seconds or so to try and find or put something in. So,
well, it's well worth it for me, who doesn't have to spend any time doing it, but I do get to enjoy it. Ian, back to the jobs thing, says, I have a friend who changes light bulbs on airport runways. Easiest job in the world.
Easiest job in the world.
In the world.
I'd like to, yeah. Wow.
I would say that's probably not the easiest job in the world.
How often do you have to change the light bulbs? Once every 4 months? Does he do it at every airport in the world? Because that would be interesting. If it's the same airport,
important questions. Yeah.
Around. Maybe we need to get him to edit our episodes. He's obviously got some spare time.
Plenty. Andy, do you have to go soon? I forgot that we.
I'm good for about 10 more minutes.
Okay, then I'm gonna get to the important questions. As Will said, pineapple content. Gentlemen, Can you rate your favorite fruits, please?
Top 3, I think.
Top 3. Yeah,
I'm really upset because I'm a big mango man, and I don't know how do you guys, because mangoes in America are different. It's a different thing. How do you eat your mangoes?
Yeah, so I get a knife and I cut the skin off, and then I cut a few chunks off for my kids, and then I take the rest of it and I just go to town.
Oh, you're an animal.
Okay, so in America, do they do the thing where you kind of cut it into cube and you flip it inside out? Does that ring any bells?
I mean, I don't do that
before, but I don't do that. Yeah.
So that's the Australian way. It's you cut 2 sides off the mango, so you got this kind of little disc of mango.
Yeah.
Then you cut crisscrosses in it, and then you flip it inside out, and then you just eat all the little cubes, and it's hands down the best way to eat any fruit. And mangoes are god tier. No one, maybe they're different in America, but goddamn, in Australia they're good.
That was an amazing chomping sound that you made.
That was really impressive.
I noticed you noticed.
Really great answer. Yeah.
But the reason I'm upset is that I had a mango yesterday and I was going to do a live demonstration on the podcast, and then my wife ate it. So next time. We had 1 mango in the house.
That was my SorareAndrews mango. Come on.
I was so amped. I was so amped to because everyone talks about, Laird, you got to do your pineapple coring live on the show, and I was like, look, enough talk. Let's just make this fruit action happen. But alas, that's divorce worthy, says Daniel Cooper. Oh, she's gone. Sorry,
she gone.
She's gone. Simon, what about you? Fruit?
I'm a good plum. Honestly,
You're
I think I saw someone. Yeah, who's for plums? I'm with Carl, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
A plum is one of those fruits though where I think it has to be the perfect plum. It can't be too ripe because then it's just mush.
Yeah.
But if it's anything underripe, I'm not a big fan of that either. It's like a sour patch kid.
Are Australian mangoes any different than, other than being in Australia? What's the difference?
100%. I don't know. I think it's just the particular species of mango, because I've had mangoes all over and they don't come anywhere close to the Australian ones. If you guys come to Australia, have you ever been to Australia? No. Okay. Well, when we have our Sorare meetup, I'm bringing a whole tray of mangoes. That's the Australian kind of summer tradition is as soon as it gets warm enough that it's mango season and you go out and you buy a massive tray of mangoes, it's summer has begun. Let's go. There you go. Okay, so the best ones we have are the Bowen mangoes, which I don't know if they're on there.
Oh, we have different names. They're like apples.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is what you meant by...
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the one. You look pointed at the screen. Yeah, there you go. Doesn't that look like a pleasure to eat?
Does it Yeah, it does actually. Yeah.
But then you're left with a seed, and that's just pure mess.
Ian says Pakistan mangoes are the best.
I have not tried Pakistani mangoes.
Yeah,
I will be honest. So he's got.
I heard
me there.
Romania has good mangoes, don't they?
Just as good as their internet.
Well, I think that was a pre-stream.
It was. Nobody has any idea what we're talking about.
I just had to throw it in there. I couldn't resist. Sorry.
Please stop! You're making me hungry, says Charlie. I think is it mango break time? Well, I don't have one. Goddamn bitch.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
We're divorced now. Hey, look, she's never seeing this, so it's okay.
That's the Raul says I am Romanian. Internet is like third
in the world. Well, okay, so Raul, the inside joke is that we're commenting about the Australian internet connection, and there's this thing that goes around all the time about how Australia's internet is worse than Romania's. Like, and that's meant to be like a slam on the current government, to be like, the current government's doing a terrible job. Our internet is slower than Romania's, but turns out third in the world, so we're fourth. So that's not too bad.
Yeah, that seems really good, actually. You got to call them out on it now. When someone's like, "We're behind Romania," and they're like, "Actually, they're very good."
Actually.
Yeah. I'm going to vote for that guy who doesn't care about making the internet any better.
Oh man, we talked about a lot of Sorare today, which is good.
Did we? What did? Yeah. Were there any Sorare topics we were supposed to cover?
I don't think so. No.
To provide some background. Break. Yeah, I was messaging with Alistair, and I was like, just so you know that there's no. Like, he was like, "Oh, like, you have any topics you want to talk about?" And I was like, "No, we're just going to go for it." He was like, "Great."
Yeah.
And then we came up with a few that we probably shouldn't openly discuss.
Yeah, we'll make Simon feel bad.
I mean, we talked about things that we definitely shouldn't have talked about, and so I don't know how we could have got much worse.
We've come a long way from the days where Andrew would refuse to swear on stream. Now he's dropping F-bombs every other minute. We're talking about coming and jizzing, and
he's like a sailor.
Did I swear on this one?
Not on this one, no.
I didn't swear today. No,
but I've been keeping count. I've been listening, and going, "There's another one. There's another one."
Yeah, one slipped out on Monday with Sean. I remember that. I think I apologized right away though.
Slowly descending into depravity, which is good. That's what the people want.
Is it for me? I don't know.
Simon, what's your first stack in the Premier League? Says Red or Dead 69.
It's going the Liverpool defensive stack and then putting it with a Tottenham attacking stack. So
nice cheap one.
Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yep, definitely not expensive. Should I just get a Luton? Should I get a Luton stack? Should I just be that guy
for the lols?
So honestly, I just don't see any potential road to being happy about with that. Literally none. Like
relegation, I think you're happy.
Relegation, yeah.
But even then, like, it's not like they're gonna smash in the championship. Like,
surely every team has that win, though. Every team has a 3-0, 4-0 win. Surely my time will come with Luton.
Yeah, maybe I mean that topic's been done so many times where it's like, yep, you might hit 1 week out of forever. Is that really worth it? Is it worth it? And again, you'll win a star limited, which is, yeah.
It could be, but like the one problem is like that'll be the 1 week that your forward's out or something, and it's like, well, I would have smashed, but I only had 4 of the 5 guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. I mean, yeah, and knowing your luck with the rewards, Simon, you'd win. So Channy this week was hit with the he was hit with what Simon gets this every time Simon has ever done well in Sorare takes it upon themselves to give him a nice young promising player as a tier 2 or a tier 1. And it's the worst. I don't know why they do it. It sucks. I don't want a 19-year-old who has promise. I want someone that can actually help me win next week. I think we can all agree on that.
I will say that there are a number of users on the platform who are okay with that, but they suck, those people. And so
The whales.
nobody wants that. Nobody wants
dirty whales.
He's going to be really good one day. And I'm like, is one day like this Friday? And they're like, nope. I'm like, all right, man. Sweet.
Oh, man. Chris Brady, eat your heart out. Yeah, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Buy that loot and stack. You'll have a great time.
But like, really, do you think you would have a good time with that? Like,
No,
no chance. Like,
No.
right.
Of course not.
Right. Okay. I'm sitting
I
here
like-
I really think this is a good idea.
I like to at least have some hope, but the fact that they would
Right.
have conceded 2 by the time the 10th minute has passed, I'll be like, it's over. Not fun.
I watched the Luton game because I was fully expecting to watch myself skyrocket to the top of the leaderboard against Tottenham on the weekend. And there was a moment where they crossed it into the box and their striker basically had an open goal and he kind of slid in to just tap it into the goal. It got like tangled up in his legs and somehow flicked out to the side away from the goal. And I was like, man, if you own that guy in Sorare right now, it is a grim moment. So that's all you're setting yourself up for is
Right.
Yeah. Stick with Liverpool. I think
There you go.
you'll be okay.
And Spurs, except for literally when they play Luton, then it's not so good.
Yeah. Exactly.
I got nothing else.
Nope. I think
And
we've
I'm not really-
exhausted
I'm-
everything there is to talk about.
Yeah,
There's
I'm actually
nothing else
quite
to talk
nervous.
about
Yeah, I'm quite nervous of where we might go next, so I'm just going to end it right here. But I know
It's
Andy.
10 a.m., but I've got a roast to do, so I'll catch you guys later. Sorry, I've actually got to duck off. Sorry.
His lunch roast is almost he's getting ready. You can smell the lunch roast from here. So
Love it.
firstly, thank you to everyone for joining, including those who are usually unable to join. Please don't get used to this time. We'll never do it again outside of talking to Alistair and Simon again, because we should do this again because this was too
Absolutely.
much fun. As a reminder to everyone, Sorare Down Under is amazing, and you should go onto their YouTube channel. I put the link. I think it's just youtube.com/ do they use the what is the @ sign? Is that what it's called? Sorare
Yeah, I
Down
think it's
Under?
at Sorare Down Under, yeah.
Yeah. So check that out, and yeah, subscribe, get all the videos because they're wonderful. Alistair, Simon, thank you for all that you do for Sorare Down Under and for making my own Sorare experience better through that content. And thanks for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.